During the second half of the show, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be speaking with the Executive Director of Grow Associates Incorporated, Mr. William Wasserman, who is here in studio this evening, and we'd like to welcome you on the Greek program.
Yasu, thank you very much.
Γεια σου και σε σένα.
Γεια σου και σε σένα.
I'm always impressed when they learn that Greek. They do it just for me.
This is nice, very, very nice. You know. Can you imagine us on a Chinese show?
No Asian. Actually, no. I could do Japanese because I hear it all the time at home for my son.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, so I got to there.
Okay.
And I'm going to start off by saying, even though you have 25 years of experience in intellectual and developmental disabilities field, you have a very impressive resume, worked very in diverse areas. We have gotten you at a disadvantage today, and and I think it's important for everybody to know, because I am truly impressed that you are here tonight, and today is your 5th day on the job.
That's correct, yes.
So, thank you. That shows how much you know about your stuff and how serious you are about what you do.
Thank you.
So, in order for our viewers, I've had the opportunity to tour Grow and indirectly have had know about Grow through the last few years, but our viewers don't. So, can we start off by saying, what is Grow?
Sure. Grow is a nonprofit organization that serves people with developmental disabilities. The organization was founded in 1973, so Grow has been part of the community for over 40 years, and started as a one-room schoolhouse and has evolved to be today a mature organization serving over 200 people, adults with developmental disabilities, and employing 70 staff.
And it's here in Massachusetts.
And it's here in Massachusetts. Our base of operations is in Randolph, and we serve the greater South Coastal area, 18 different towns in Brockton. So we're all over that area, but our base of operations is in Randolph, in what was the prior old Reebok building.
You said with people with disabilities. Does that mean of a certain age group, or does that include children? Not that children are not people, but we usually refer to them as children.
Yeah, I know, I understand. We serve people beginning at age 18 currently, and it goes up to there. If somebody's 120 years old, we're still serving them. I think our oldest person we serve now is 73 years old. So, but we begin at 18 to say adults with
all
developmental.
these individuals are with developmental issues, or
Strictly developmental disabilities, no, we don't currently serve people with mental health issues. It's just developmental disabilities. Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you.
I do want to focus on the center, Grow, because of what it does, what it provides people and families, and the improvements and the accomplishments that Grow has, that is making it a model nationwide at this point. And I know, again, 5 days on the job, but I'm sure you had to do your homework in order to know whether or not you want to apply for the position. Can you tell us, without putting you in a difficult spot, why are other states looking at Grow because what reason? Why is it such a model?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was familiar with Grow prior to coming to Grow, because I'd worked on similar projects that I'm about to describe. What makes Grow unique, other than what I consider exemplary and dedicated staff that serve the people that we work for, it's a very wonderful organization with a very dedicated and committed board of directors. That having been said, what makes Grow unique in the question you're asking is that what used to be a primary model of service was called sheltered workshops. And there still are sheltered workshops. The
Can you
city,
just, I'm sorry, what is a sheltered
a
workshop?
sheltered workshop essentially is a model that started in the early 70s of a place for people with developmental disabilities to have employment. Sheltered literally means sheltered. At the time they started, the perception and belief in the community and society was that the type of adults we serve needed to be sheltered from mainstream society.
Okay.
So it became a sheltered environment where everyone who worked there, what they had in common was the fact they had a developmental disability. Beyond that, they may have other things in common, but that is and remains the popular program model. The only people that don't have disabilities that are in a sheltered workshop are people that are paid to be their staff. So that's what, in essence, a sheltered workshop is. State of Massachusetts has said we're going to begin defunding sheltered workshops. The state and the federal government is looking for a significant movement to community-based services and more individualized services based on the person's hopes, desires, needs for support, and who they want to be in the world, as opposed to, well, that's what they want.
And always talking about people with disabilities right now.
Talking about people with developmental disabilities, and you'll often hear me kind of fall back and just say people, because, well, that's
people.
that's how I look at it. So the
Of course, that's how you. Of
yeah,
course.
right, yeah. So the state is defunding workshops. They put a mandate out and they had a set date. What GROW accomplished was converting the sheltered workshop to the models we have today of community-based employment for people, community-based volunteerism for people, really exercising individual choice in a way that gives them access to feel self-esteem, personal dignity, having control over their own lives. So GROW is the first organization in the state of Massachusetts to make this conversion. It's not an easy conversion to make. And it's the
And
only.
I'm gonna
Oh, yeah,
interrupt
sure,
one second.
by all means.
In this conversion, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
in the past, you oversaw a very large similar conversion in a pilot program.
Yeah, we had about 480 individuals in sheltered employment.
So you really know how much that it is a big deal to do that.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't matter if it's 480 or if it's 60 or the numbers, it's a big, as we say, lift. So the state is beginning to defund this. They set a mandate on when they'd like it to occur. GROW was 15 months ahead of the curve on when the state wanted it to happen. And now the state's extended it another year so that other providers can kind of come along the learning curve. So what makes GROW a model is, one, it's the only organization in the state to accomplish this, and it's one of only a handful in the country that successfully made the conversion. And really it's a testament to the organization. It's in working with families. It requires exemplary staff, creative staff. It requires an exceptionally dedicated board of directors to hold the course through the conversion. And ultimately it comes down to the service models really partnering with the adults who are being served and learning what is it they want in leaving sheltered employment. What are their goals? What do they want to do? So they become authentic partners in the conversion, as do their families. And I think that's the fundamental way to describe it, if you will.
And just for the sake of
Yeah.
our viewers to understand
Sure.
exactly what's happening in an individual's day, how do you guys get into his actual day, the events that going through his actual day? Can you give it to us briefly?
Yeah, we offer a broad array of services, and we primarily provide day services. So it's such a broad array of services, and it's such an exemplary organization. I can pick out a few things that GROW does.
Well, why don't I just
Yeah.
make it easier?
Yeah.
I know that there is a day program, and there is a program for those that are going to work.
Yes.
I believe there's one other program,
Community-based,
community-based.
yeah.
So just briefly tell us about,
Just like a managing. That's
no, it
what I'm
depends
trying-
on what
that's-
program
that's what I'm trying to-
the person wants to get into, correct? The family has decided?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So-
and people are free to move about the different
Oh, they
service.
can, okay, that's
Oh, absolutely, yeah, yes. What would you like to know about
So why
that?
don't we start with the community service?
Sure. In community services and people from what we call the day service model that's at our location in Randolph also have these opportunities. In the day service model, people can go out for recreational activities that they may not have had access to before. They can go out. Our staff support people to go to the library, to go to the YMCA to work out. And individuals really choose where they want to go and what they want to do in the community, and it's grows staff's response, sort of accountability to figure out what are the needs for support of the individual to do this. One of the greatest things is a number of the people we serve in that same program model, if you will, milieu that we're discussing. Those people choose to volunteer. And they choose to volunteer at other nonprofits that are helping other people. And when you look collectively at those people that choose to volunteer, and then our staff support them to do that at GROW, it's over 4,000 hours a year that the people that we serve give back to the community of their own time to help other people.
Oh, wow.
So it's an exceptional program. And prior to the conversion, and that's another one of the things that make it such a model, is that wouldn't have been possible prior to the conversion of the sheltered workshop. And it's really allowing people to choose where they want to contribute to their community.
And how do these nonprofits come about? Do they just contact, the center, or is that places that you do outreach to? How does one sign up to become a place for, that can offer volunteer services?
Yeah. Organizations that would like volunteers and are looking for committed and good volunteers can contact us directly at the organization. And the number for that is 781-961-6700. And certainly any organization that's looking for volunteers or any business that's looking for employees, we would welcome those telephone calls, absolutely.
So, good segue to employees. What kind of work and how many people that go out every day come to the center and then the center takes them to their jobs? What do they do?
Yeah, it's a variety of things. There may be people that are doing filing at a particular business. There may be individuals that are working at a particular supermarket. We have a landscape crew that goes out and does landscaping. We're also always looking for more commercial landscape work as well. So for viewers that have those needs, feel free to use the number.
781?
Yeah.
961-6700, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
David, if we can get that on the screen too.
781-961-6700.
Now, Bill, right?
Sure,
I can call you
yeah,
Bill.
just go by
Great.
Bill, absolutely.
The jobs that they do, how many hours do they work and do they get paid?
They absolutely get paid. Everyone's at a minimum of $9 an hour, and we have people earning in excess of $12 an hour. The number of hours a person works depends on both the employer and what the individual, what they want to work. Just like any typical person, do they want to work full-time? Do they want 20 hours a week? What is it they want to do and balance with the rest of their life? Most of the people we have in employment, I would say, average between 15 to 20 hours a week. So that's
a majority.
Yeah, that's the majority, yeah. And then that's not counting the bistro, which is an in-house restaurant that's been certified by the Board of Health. All the people that we serve who work there are Serve Safe certified by the National Restaurant Association, and we do catering out.
I was just going to say that. I heard that you do catering too.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so the number's there, and if you want an event catered, by all means, give
Yeah,
us a call.
they just started, I think, not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
I was very impressed when I heard the catering aspect. It's like, yeah, that.
Why not?
Yeah, I'd love that. But there's also the folks that don't want to do either one, and they just come for the day.
Yes, we have a number of people, yes, that come for the day.
What do they do?
They may take advantage of the computer lab, where they have an opportunity to work on the computer, kind of explore the internet. Some people use iPads or augmentative communication devices so they can further master their skills with that. We have cooking classes, nutrition classes, we have art activities, music activities. It's a very dynamic and active services for people that come to that particular model. Yeah, and it's based on personal choice. Again, it's what do they want to do, what are their needs for support, and what can we do to help the individual accomplish their goals.
I do want to come off Grow for 1 minute and just to speak about learning disability, talk about disabilities, people with disabilities in general. And I would say that you could be considered an expert. You've consulted at Cornell's University employment and disability on employment and disability issues, but you also hold a master's degree in public administration. So how are people with disabilities perceived? 1 second before you answer. We all have callings in life, or we want to do this or we want to do that, but I think for the most part, in order to be able to take care or invest time, and yes, it is a job with people with disabilities, something, somewhere, somehow has given you that passion to do that. And in your case, and if I may, I did get permission before the show to do this. In your family, you have 2 brothers with disabilities. So you've had that passion since you were very young. I think they're older brothers?
Yeah.
So growing up with 2 brothers with disability to today, how is that perceived and how is it different? And there are differences, but I just wanted to hear from your words. And I know we only have a couple of minutes, but if you could just tell us.
In terms of public perception?
Yes, public perception.
I think growing
up. And facilities.
Sure, yeah. I think it's 2 of my brothers, there's 6 siblings in all, so there's a big bunch of us. I would say in the early 70s that people with disabilities were perceived as needing to be protected and kind of supported away from what may be a toxic society to them. So you had this emergence of developmental centers, large institutions that kind of housed or warehoused people, which wasn't my experience with my brothers, because my brothers lived at home and kind of, we never engaged in those types of models. My mother also worked in the field. So I grew up around the field from a familiar perspective with my brothers as well as a professional one. And as time goes by, what the change I've seen is that people recognize a person with a disability or in this case a developmental disability. It's not an automatic, oh, they have a disability. What I've seen change is that there's a growing recognition that people are not their disability. You cannot be your disability. Every individual has strengths. So it's slowly happening, and part of what makes Grow very unique is that it only can happen by providers supporting people to be integrated and part of the community. And that begins to take the stigma away. It begins to show to employers these are very capable individuals, they're just like anyone else. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, or our strengths and needs for support from other people. And people with disabilities are no different. So I've watched that evolution kind of occur with my brothers and as well as the whole population of people with disabilities. Yeah, absolutely.
Here in the United States, we have done an
Tremendous.
unbelievable job
Yeah.
compared to other countries. I can tell you right now because once I got involved with a little bit with disabilities in other
Yeah,
countries,
it's
and,
just,
and it's like
we're like
we are far ahead than anybody
hundreds of
else.
thousands of years advanced.
Not that we are there, but
Yeah.
we're never there. But
In order to maintain, grow, I'm sure funding is needed. And I also understand that you're in the process of putting together a big campaign that, obviously we're not going to talk about details, but we hope that you can come back and once it's all up and running. But tell us a little bit about why you're initiating the capital campaign.
Sure. Yeah, we're actively, at this point in GROW's trajectory, if you will, we're actively engaging a number of foundations. And currently we rent 25,000 square feet of a 50,000 square foot building that was originally the Reebok building in Randolph. And we're looking to purchase the building. So our goal with the capital campaign is to accomplish that. So we have a permanent home in Randolph, and the building is a base of operations. So in addition to engaging foundations currently, and we're actively doing that now, we'll look to kick off more formally our capital campaign in the late summer, early fall. But that's the impetus behind the capital campaign.
To have your own building.
To have our own building, and also to...
More space.
More space, and I feel GROW does such an exemplary job of serving the people that we serve. Why wouldn't we serve more people?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know not only from what I saw that day, I was unexpected. Nobody was expecting me to be there, so it wasn't as if anything was planned, ladies and gentlemen. I just showed up and they're like, huh? But also because a very, 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 very good friend of mine is a client at GROW.
Okay.
So I hear from her. So, and I make sure that she's not disappointed, my good friend Maggie. But in closing, I do want to ask you one question. It's kind of a loaded question, but I'm going to go for it anyway.
Okay.
And that is, in your experience, this is your background. You grew up with two brothers with disabilities. You see it. You've done pilot programs. You've done an awful lot. I don't need to tell you your resume. You already know it. In your opinion, what is the greatest disability?
The greatest disability I've ever witnessed is the disability of perception. It's not a clinical diagnosis. It's not what a person can't do. It's what people think the person can't do. It's what people perceive of people who have disabilities that in fact disables the individual. So the greatest disability I've ever seen actually doesn't have much to do with people who have needs for support. It has more to do with what I would consider the rest of us, the neurotypical population, and how the people we serve are perceived. That's the greatest
we are the
disability.
disabled ones.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the greatest disability I've seen is perception. And when you asked me the question
right.
earlier, it's slowly eroding. That greatest disability is slowly eroding, which is why people do get hired by employers, why other organizations do accept people as volunteers. So that to me, in my life's work and personal life, that's always been the greatest disability is perception. And people can't be their disability. It's not possible.
Yes. People are people.
Exactly.
We all have something, but a closed mind is the worst.
Right.
Bill, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen,
you.
we've been talking
Thanks very much
with
for being with us.
William
Thank you.
Wasserman, who is the Executive Director of GROW. Bill, I can like to give out the email address in case, the website rather, for people to
Absolutely.
get more information, and if you want to contribute or sign up as a nonprofit or...
781-961-6700.
And the email address is grow/associates.org. Very comprehensive, easily to manage website. If you are a landscaper or if you're able to employ somebody or if you're a nonprofit and they
Please
can
do so.
volunteer, the clients that grow can volunteer their services, please contact them and they will be more than happy to hear from you. And we'd like to get a commitment from you, so maybe on your 100th day,
Okay,
you can come back and talk to us about the capital campaign. Is that okay?
absolutely.
Okay.
I'd welcome it. Thank you
Thank
very
you very much.
much.
Thank you
Thank you.
so
Thank
much
you.
for coming on.
Thank you.
Αγαπητοί μου φίλοι,
Thank you very
ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ που μας παρακολουθήσατε.
Την επόμενη εβδομάδα δεν έχουμε
Δεν
show.
έχουμε εκπομπή. Ευχόμαστε να είσαστε όλοι καλά, να προσέχετε όταν οδηγάτε, να προσέχετε τι κάνετε, που πάτε, να είσαστε προσεκτικοί γιατί σας θέλουμε να είσαστε ξανά μαζί μας σε 2 Δευτέρες που θα είμαστε εδώ πάλι στον αέρα. Να ευχαριστήσουμε τον Χρήστο Χρυσοχώου, τον Θόδωρο Νίκου και τα αδέλφια τους. Να ευχαριστήσουμε τον κύριο Wasserman από το Grow Associates που ήταν εδώ μαζί μας.
Να τους ευχηθούμε καλό ταξίδι.
Να ευχηθούμε στα παιδιά καλό ταξίδι, να ευχηθούμε σε εσάς καλό βράδυ και να στείλω πολλά φιλάκια στη φίλη μου τη Μάγκη που μας βλέπει. Μάγκη Σπυριδόπουλος. Μουα!
Γεια σου Μάγκη.
Have a wonderful evening everybody.
Καλό βράδυ
Φιλάκια.
κύριε. Γεια σας.